Hey guys and gals, and welcome back to another Road to Rag video. Today, we're going to go over enchanting and everything you need to know to get your enchanting to 300 using the given rule set of the event. Timestamps will be down below as well as all the links mentioned and for the event itself, so let's get into this. Now as far as the actual leveling of enchanting, we all know you can't do it while playing solo and hardcore. Duos and trios can by having a partner run blacksmith, but solo players will have to wait until 60 to start. And once again, I'm going to plug sites such as WoW Professions, Wowhead, and Icy Veins to follow along with their leveling guides, as these are the most efficient and quickest path to get to 300. Each site has some differences in its given pass, but I prefer WoW Professions myself. Icy Veins mostly seems to be a copy pasta of Wowhead's guides with some narration changes. Just remember to gather as many of the materials needed to go from 225 to 250, as you'll need to go inside Uldaman to find your artisan trainer. And once you're in there, you might as well stay and learn everything from her so you don't need to come back. You'll have to kill everything in her small area before you can talk to her, so solo stealth runs probably won't be a viable option. So you hit 60 and it's now time to work on enchanting. But how are you going to get the mats that you need? Yeah, you can now trade in the 60 guild, but do you think everybody here held onto the BOE greens they got as they leveled? Probably not. So what's the easiest way to acquire mats then? There's two good options here and one not so good. But before I can do that, it's good to know certain things. What the chances are of getting dust, essence, and shards are, and what the disenchanting range is. The percentage chances of each mat are different based on the item's level, but can be summarized as 75, 20, 5, with weapons having a higher chance for essence and armor giving more dust. While you'll mostly get shards from blues, there's a small chance that you can get them from greens. For the ranges, on screen now I'll have all the enchanting mats listed and the approximate level ranges of the items that yield them. The dust are pretty straightforward with the biggest range, where the essences and shards have a bit more complexity to them. You may have also noticed that the dusts have multiple start ranges, and this is because some items produce one dust, while another item of the same level produces another dust. I'm not going to cover all these items as it's just too much info to go through, and frankly, I'm not going to spend 20 hours testing each of these starting ranges. But this info is good to know. With that out of the way, here's the 3 ways to acquire mats. Obviously, crafting gear disenchant is one of them. I've already gone ahead and figured out all the items that work best for each range, choosing the recipes that require the least amount of materials to craft. I'll go over those in a bit. The other good way is to get a group together to run dungeons for the specific purpose of disenchanting every item drop. This works best on lower level dungeons, as running higher level dungeons just to DE everything has increased risks. But just because you're running a lower level dungeon, don't get too comfortable. While the chances of a group of 60s wiping in Scarlet Monastery are slim to none, that's still not 0%. Don't overpull and play it safe. Running these lower level dungeons has another benefit. Cloth drops. So while gathering greens and blues to DE, you're also gathering cloth for tailors to make more gear to DE, essentially doubling your returns. Keep in mind that while running higher level dungeons is more of a risk, at times it may be faster for collecting shards. The last option is by far the worst option, but it still exists. Grinding. There are going to be plenty of people grinding mobs out in the open world for various reasons, and I'd suggest that you keep any BOEs you find. Fresh 60s may be able to use it as an upgrade, and if not, give them to an enchanter for DE. So with that, let's segue into efficient craftables. If you look at Wowhead's enchanting guide, there's a small list of items that require minimal mats to craft in order to obtain certain dust, and while it's accurate, I don't feel it's enough. There are plenty of other items available to use. So I'm going to group these items up based on profession, and I'm going to include items from tailoring, leatherworking, blacksmithing, and engineering. Everything I list will be armor, so dust is the primary resource you'll gain, with a smaller chance at essence and a rare chance at shards. I did not include any weapons as these require too many materials to be efficient. I'll list them in order based on level, and I think I'll channel my inner Melderon for this. Time to bust out the slides.
So from tailoring we have brown linen robe, taught by your trainer, which will produce strange dust and lesser magic essence. Azure silk pants, also taught by your trainer, will produce soul dust, greater astral essence, and large glimmering shards. Azure silk cloak, which is a vendor recipe, will produce soul dust, lesser mystic essence, and small glowing shards. The recipe can be bought from Brianna's Starglow, located near the Moonwell at the eastern side of Feralis. Black mage weave gloves, taught by your trainer, which will produce vision dust, lesser nether essence, and small radiant shards. Runecloth belt, taught by your trainer, will produce dream dust, lesser eternal essence, and small brilliant shards. Finally, Runecloth shoulders, which is a world drop, will produce illusion dust, greater eternal essence, and large brilliant shards. From leatherworking, we have rugged leather pants, a world drop recipe, which will produce strange dust and lesser magic essence. Dark leather tunic, also a world drop recipe, will produce strange dust, greater magic essence, and small glimmering shards. Dusky leather leggings and barbaric shoulders both produce soul dust, lesser mystic essence, and small glowing shards. Both are world drop recipes. Guardian leather bracers, which is yet another world drop, will produce vision dust, greater mystic essence, and large glowing shards. Netherscape headband, taught by your trainer, will produce vision dust, lesser nether essence, and small radiant shards. Heavy Scorpid bracers and wicked leather gauntlets are both vendor recipes and both produce dream dust, lesser eternal essence, and small brilliant shards. Heavy Scorpid bracers can be picked up from Zanok Hide Piercer in Silithus, and wicked leather gauntlets can be bought from Leonard Porter in Western Plaguelands. I've included both in this list because of the differing materials needed. One is more rugged leather, and the other is mixed rugged leather and Scorpid scales, so depending where you go to farm, either of these recipes will be efficient. Lastly, for leatherworking, we have Wicked Leather Belts, which is dropped off Ghoul Raveners in Stratholme. It produces illusion dust, greater eternal essence, and large brilliant shards. On to blacksmithing. First up is Rough Bronze Leggings, taught by your trainer, which produces strange dust, lesser astral essence, and small glimmering shards. Green Iron Leggings and Shoulders both produce soul dust, lesser mystic essence, and small glowing shards. The leggings are taught by your trainer, and the shoulders are a world drop recipe. The shoulders are slightly cheaper to make, so hold on to that recipe if you get it. Next up, Mithril Scale Pants and Heavy Mithril Shoulders, both taught by your trainer, will produce vision dust, lesser nether essence, and small radiant shards. Again, I'm including both here because of the differing materials needed. One is more mithril, and the other is less mithril with leather. Either recipe is efficient to make. Mithril Coif, taught by your trainer, will produce dream dust, greater nether essence, and large radiant shards. Thorium Belt will yield the same results but is a world drop recipe. Either works and will depend on which ore is easier to farm. Thorium Bracers, which is a world drop recipe, produces dream dust, lesser eternal essence, and small brilliant shards. Lastly, Dark Iron Shoulders at a Blackrock Depths will produce illusion dust, greater eternal essence, and large brilliant shards. I covered how to get this recipe in part 2 of my dedicated crafters video. Link will be down below. And finally, on to engineering. Only 2 of these items are taught by your trainer, and the first is Flying Tiger Goggles, which will produce strange dust and greater magic essence. The other is the last on the list, so for now, the world drop recipes. Shadow Goggles will produce strange dust, lesser astral essence, and small glimmering shards. Bright Eye Goggles will produce soul dust, lesser mystic essence, and small glowing shards. Craftsman's Monocle will produce vision dust, greater mystic essence, and large glowing shards. Spell Power Extreme Goggles and Cat's Eye Ultra Goggles will produce vision dust, lesser nether essence, and small radiant shards. Which you choose will depend on whether the recipes are found and which gems are easier to obtain. The Cat's Eye Elixir needed is taught to alchemists from their trainers. Finally, the rose-colored goggles, taught from your trainer, will produce dream dust, greater nether essence, and large radiant shards. There are unfortunately no easy-to-make quote-unquote engineering recipes that produce illusion dust, eternal essences, or brilliant shards.
You know, I think my impressions are getting better. Anyways, I hope this video helped you out if you plan to pick up Enchanting in the Road to Rag event. I'll have a link to the slides and everything else I mentioned down below, and I'll see you guys sooner than you think.